victory for San Francisco. Just even when the Cowboys got the turnover that they needed, and that was the Ray fumbled punt. First down and 10 at San Francisco's 21, and cannot get that in the end zone. I thought that was crucial also. You punched that into the end zone.
So I went to San Francisco. San Francisco won, so Cowboys lost. But it looked like a close game, and boy, they tried to take it back. Prescott threw a little wide, and the wide receiver or whatever it was to try to catch it. I don't think it was a wide receiver, but he was close to it. But he stepped out. His name was Schultz. He stepped out of line, or he stepped out the line and lost that pickup. But they would still, even if they would have got that, they only had 10 seconds left. It would have been still a Hail Mary almost. At least it would have been 40 yards pass. But they went back to the 20. So, being back there in that part of the zone of the field, it just was too tough for them. But San Francisco took it, and it looked like a pretty good game.
Because he threw the ball to Zeke, and it, kind of popped him in the chest, and it bounced up, but it fell incomplete. And you wonder, even if he didn't make it into the end zone at that particular point, if it's 4th and goal at the 2, 4th and goal at the 3,
right,
do they go for it and try to stick it into the end zone? And I think my mindset would be yes.
But from the 5,
from the 7, it was at the 7-yard line.
Okay.
What he should have done is he caught the ball. Plant those 2 feet. That's why they got to take ballet and stuff like that.
To 16-9. But the Cowboys, and you talk about responding, they get the huge return from Cavante Turpin, which should have.
So the final moments, they could have won. Schultz, I don't really know if he's tight end or wide receiver. Or he doesn't really look like a wide receiver. He looks too stocky for a wide receiver. And also another thing, those wide receivers, they need to, if they're going out for a ball like that and they're on the tail end or on the side of the field like that, or at least along the line of scrimmage, or where they step out of bounds, they need to take smaller steps. He just didn't have the relation between where he was in the field when he caught the ball. He caught the ball. It's a nice little catch. It was a nice little pass. How straight can you get it? And now Aikman, he would have bulleted it the other direction, and it would probably bounced off his helmet. But that got it to him, and he already stepped. He was already in the bounds. He was already in bounds when he caught it. But he took such a big step. And also, if you look at the replay of that, he's stepping forward. He should have been thinking upfield when he caught the ball, not just catch the ball, land it there. How much room does he have? So Schultz caught it and took a big step. He was already in bounds and stepped right over out of bounds, and they lost that yardage, and there was no way after that because they were on the 20. It'd have to have been a Hail Mary, and you don't want to get in that kind of position. Now, let's say if Schultz would have caught it and was thinking upfield, turned his foot, or dragged his foot. That's what they were saying. He should drag his feet so that he's in bounds. Then they would have had a dangerous position to throw a decent play, even though San Francisco has a heck of a defense. But they might have been able to throw a Hail Mary after that, and they may have could have run it in, and then they would have got the extra point and won the game. Now in Super Bowls, that stuff happens. The teams are so orchestrated that they can get that score in a situation like that. Dak was definitely in a position, although the thing about Dak, I thought what he should have done, my own personal opinion, is he should have ran it in. Was it Aikman that did that a lot? I think Aikman did. He should have ran it instead of throwing it to Schultz. He saw Schultz was open. He saw that he could get it to him. He could have faked it. Now, I don't know. I was only looking at one angle, so he could have got smeared if he tried to run it in. I don't know. I don't know what the defense team looked like on San Francisco. But I think if he would have ran that in, or if they get him where he can run them in more so, they might do better next year or even this year. And that means picking up Dak's sprint game, so Dak Prescott can get his sprint down and have him run in stuff. You want a quarterback that can do that. You know, you gotta look at Troy Aikman's career and see if he was a passer. I think Troy Aikman would pass the ball quite a bit. He was like they said he had like a bullet arm. You know, the bull, the quarterback, or the football would turn into a bullet and it would go flying down the field. You know, he was like very accurate with the ball to where you wouldn't have to reach out to grab it. It would be right there in your hands. That's how Aikman was. But they had him running, you know. Romo would try it and they'd always hurt his shoulder or knock him down. I think Dak, they need to train him to run some of those in, because they're training him to a pass game. He needs to pass the ball, so they have to train in both aspects of that medium of passing the ball and running it in. Now, if you look at one of the great quarterbacks of the last season, the Patriots, he did a lot of running the ball in, especially during Super Bowl games and stuff, or any chance that he could get. A lot of the great quarterbacks will do that. But in that position, he was getting everybody ready for a passing game for the last part of that loss in San Francisco. He was gonna go with passing the ball. I could tell. He looked pretty serious. It looked like the old school Cowboys. It looked like they may have a really good team from that game, to be honest, because they did a really quick comeback, almost won the game. And boy, let me tell you, if they would have won that game, and I know they want people watching, everybody would be glued to the screen from the rest of the season probably, because that would have been an upset win on the Cowboys, and they had a chance. And I think Prescott probably choosing a passing game is the right decision rather than trying to run it in. But in that particular case, with that much time and them needing that yardage that bad, he could have tried to do that. Try to run in about 20 yards for him, get the first down, and then pass the ball, you know. Because you're not going to be 100% on every single type of maneuver in football if you're a quarterback. You're not going to be 100% on every single throw. You're not a pitcher for baseball, you know. So save those throws for when you absolutely need them. When your time is running out, find a way to build some plays where you can run it in and get that yardage that you need. So then the next game, you know, where you're down by one touchdown, you can do that. You can run one of the first downs in. Quarterback can. By creating a great fake. It's called a quarterback sneak. And you build up your quarterback sneak to where it's very, very sneaky. You know, get that in there. Okay. Then get that first down at the last minute, and then the next time throw that 20-yard pass, and then the next 20-yard pass. In this case, he would have had like 3 seconds, you know, because down at 10 seconds, I was pretty much, there's no way. I don't know, man. It's tough. Tom Landry was great because, for one thing, he wore a feather in his hat. That's one of the things that made him great. He had the little feather in his hat. He had a lot of character. But he had those passing games down as a coach. He knew how to work the field in a very strategic way. You want to think about strategy. And things like quarterback sneaks work. Of course, Cowboys defense looks pretty mean. San Francisco looks like they have a very mean defense team. They may go They may go all the way. They may go to the Super Bowl this year because they were pushing us back. And ideally, we should have won that game. I think the Cowboys should have won. They had enough time. They had plenty of time to get that, you know, to turn it over and win. And they were in a dangerous area. Another thing too, I would say, last little side point, you know, for for the Cowboys on that loss in San Francisco on January 22nd, 2023. Last little thing. Right before he threw it to Schultz, they had a return. Special teams returned. And when he returned it, he did the nil thing, where they get put on the 20-yard line or whatever. I think he should have ran it into like the 40-yard line, put Dak under less pressure. The whole team has to work with Dak, as well as Dak working with the whole team, because you got to have the quarterback. But everybody's got to want to win as much as Dak Prescott wants to go to the Super Bowl. Everybody's got to want that too, so everyone's on the same page. And Schultz just need a little more effort in receiving that ball. It looked a little. I mean, I'm not insulting any Cowboy team member on this last loss. I know we're diehard Cowboy fans in Texas, but that was some sloppy receiving. And I was a wide receiver and a safety, mostly safety and wide receiver, and special teams return. But that could have easily been inbounds, catching that, and he's probably going to get, talking to. Our coaches would be a little upset. We'd have to run some laps. We would get in trouble. Because in that kind of situation, he needs to really have his mind on the field, on where he's at when he's catching the ball. He stepped out of bounds. In a situation like that, can lose the whole season with that kind of wide stepping. See, that's why football players take ballet or mime. Mime would be great. Mime is great. Etienne Decroux, studying different parts of the body, studying the feet. The feet's very important in mime. If you study mime, Marcel Marceau, just the placement of feet and the relationship between your feet and the ground. I don't think that return. Schultz had it. He did not know where he was in the field. He just stepped right over the bounds, and they lost the whole game just because of that one mistake. And that was an easy correction for a football player. Very easy correction. Just catch the ball and keep your feet in bounds. That's what he's supposed to do in retrieving. They're going to have to train him over and over and over again, so that he's taking tiny steps when he catches, takes little tiny steps. He can take those big wide steps when he's jogging and getting in shape. He doesn't need to take those huge steps like that on the field, unless, of course, he's running. He was trying to gain the right positioning to catch the ball. It's a lot going on. Hundreds of things are going on in a situation like that. I'm not making any blame. And they patted him on the back. He did the best he could. But you got to have a coach too that's going to be a kind of a hard ass, a hard butt. And Tom Landry was quiet. He was a quiet coach. So he was the head coach though. But all the trainers and stuff were probably pretty strict. I don't know. We might get there. It'd be nice to see it because everybody makes more money when we go. But also it's fun. It's exciting to go to the Super Bowl. Then everybody goes to Disney World. I don't know what's going on with the Cowboys. We'll have to see. Dak Prescott has the talent. He's gifted, so he should be able to take us there. It's just we need to, work on the same team. Everybody needs to be on the same team. Guacamole. Nice. It's 39 degrees. Yeah, it says ice. But I was saying beware of ice.
Yeah, for tomorrow to make sure you.
Let's see what Kitty did.
Oh, what did Kitty do?
I don't know.
Gretchen!
Looks like he's been pretty good.
I missed you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been pretty good.
Hey, you baby boy. We missed you. Oh, you want some water? Want some water? Yes, what's up? Come here. Water. He smells the food. Alright, let's take off our shoes. Shoes are dirty. Oh, they don't get out of dry food, so that's good.
Creepshow's on. The Creepshow's on, and it's actually, the screenplay's George Romero. It's actually just based on Stephen King's stories. So George Romero was the one who put all this together. And this one's called Chief Woodenhead.
Oh, it's dust all over your war paint, Chief. I should have learned by now never to